Okay. Energy teachings. So this is a following of the previous flow that I was doing. Um, I'm probably gonna let this be like, let me check how long I have to do this. Yeah, maybe like 20 minutes or so. Um, okay, so I want to talk about energy teachings. For those of you who are maybe newer to the term inner work, or it just doesn't seem very familiar, or you hear about it and it's like, okay, yeah, but how? I want to talk to you about that, and how that happens, how you can create that, and how you will begin to see shifts in your outer life when you start to do the inner work. And in inner work, it's essentially, let's say you're externally having a struggle with maybe a family relationship. Inner work is coming into, okay, what is that core wound? What is it? Okay, maybe there's a feeling of abandonment. Maybe there's a feeling of not really being accepted for who you are. Maybe there's a feeling of you always have to change who you are so that other people accept you. So the opportunity for inner alchemy is to find the places within yourself that you're not accepting you, and then do inner work around accepting those pieces. So we have this connection to source. God, goddess, consciousness, infinite, all of life, every single person, whatever your relationship to your higher power is, we all have access to that, right? So, and even within yourself, you have your own love. So you have this energy, and I would call that light. I would call that like vibrating, just healing capacity. Everybody has it. Energy. Yeah, energy. You can bring that energy and that awareness to whatever those pieces are. Um, if there's been abuse, if there has been uh, just there's so much, and it's like the inner work is coming into a place within yourself that makes space for healing. And so that's something you can do with a coach, that's something you can do with a therapist. But I love coaching because it's more about alchemy. It's more about you see what is and then you transform it and then you turn it into something, whether that is, purpose or wisdom or energy or compassion or empathy. If you're wanting to create more space in your body and your being, empathy is always going to help you feel more free. Um, so, you know, if you want to experience more financial abundance, it's like we go deep into, okay, well, maybe there's some type of subconscious belief that you have that is blocking you from either A, taking the action towards studying a new stream of income that you could find, or believing that it's even possible to make X amount of money, or changing a feeling of worthiness that you deserve to make that amount of money. So it can be a process of changing thought patterns. That's something that I really really love and I'm really passionate about, is being really intentional with what you're thinking, and I call it possibility thinking, like thinking expansively. um, what would I need to think in order to be a match or to be receptive to an $100,000 year this year? That's what I need to think on a consistent basis. That's one step. Then what new teachers would I need to study from on a consistent basis? That's the second step. What new awarenesses or what new possibilities would I need to breathe into to make space for this new upgrade, this new energy, this new lifestyle? And within that, what purpose am I going to fill so that I have channels on how I give and I express? Because ultimately, the more resources you have, I personally feel that makes you more of a leader, so that you can give, that you can serve, that you can support projects that are really important to you and matter, and inspire you, you know, or you can create your own projects and just, yeah. So to me, a leader really is seeing problems in the world and finding solutions together. And it comes back again to the sustainability. How are we doing that in a sustainable way? How are we doing that in a way that harms nobody? How are we doing that in a way that takes care of the earth, that takes care of people, that takes care of animals? Like, all that question to me, is leadership. Leader is compassionate, a leader is wise, a leader is loving. A leader has a balance of their masculine and feminine energy, so that we're not in energy of depleting or competing, but we're in energy of co-creating, and that's where really magic happens. So yeah, so inner work, you want to attract a relationship, but you keep attracting, let's say, somebody who's not committing, and it's like, okay, well, what within you is not allowing that? That's inner work. You turn your awareness from focusing on them to being like, okay, here. Let me focus here. Where am I not committing to my path? Where am I not committing to my purpose? Somebody's coming in again. Okay, he was just dropping me off a little soup. That was super sweet. Okay, so, bringing that awareness back within yourself to see, okay, where am I not committing to my path? Where am I not committing to my purpose? And where am I not fully choosing me? So it's like that awareness right there in of itself would show you, okay, why am I even attracted to that person? Ooh, there's some type of flawed neural networking programming that's going on in my mind that is saying that is attractive. Whereas when I start to focus on my path, I start to focus on my inner growth, I start to value me more. And what that looks like on a day-to-day basis, when you value you more, if you're not, it looks like, looking into your own eyes in the mirror and saying, hey, love, what would make you feel really good today? What do you want to do today? What's going to really nourish your soul and spirit today? And how can I support you? And like checking in with your emotional well-being, especially I think as feminine identifying beings, like to honor and validate your emotions, that's going to support you in attracting a partner that also did the same thing. The partner that would check in with you and be like, hey, love, what are you feeling? What's present? How can I support you? How can I serve you? Versus like, somebody who will tell you you're too sensitive, or you're too this, or you're too that. It's like, no, you're not. It's, you are who you are, and that they're just not a match. So you got to change the way your networking, your wiring is happening, so that you perceive that person as maybe less attractive. And then when you also look at, like, if somebody's not committing to you in the way that you want, maybe it's because there's a part of your heart that even isn't fully available for that level of commitment. Maybe you're potentially still in love with somebody else. So everything is energetics, right? And when we have, especially relationships, are reflections of our inner world, your inner psychology, your inner emotional landscape. It's reflecting outward what's going on inside. And so, that person showing up is an invitation to you to say, okay, where are you not available right now for the full love that you're really wanting, and that you're calling in, and that you're intentionally wanting to create space for. And then, you can write out, like, what would a day in the life look like of really committing to you, committing to your vision, to your purpose. Like, first we have to do that. We get to do that before we're even able to have a healthy relationship, because nobody wants to be in a relationship with someone that's like, choose me, commit to me, and like focus. And it's like, whoa, just chill, but when you're focusing on you, and you're doing your own thing, and you're in your own path, and you're in your own lane, it's like someone wants to add to that. Someone wants to pour into that, right? Because you're already in such flow. So you would attract someone who's also in flow. And then by nature of you learning how to give to yourself so much, what you give is not going to come from a place of, I'm giving so you can accept me. It's coming from a place of, I'm giving because I feel so good. I feel so good, and giving and love and contribution is my nature. And also, I coach a lot of women, and one of the things I say to women especially is wait until, if you're interested in pursuing a man, or being pursued by a man rather, wait until you see him invest in you, emotionally, psychologically, with his attention, his effort, his generosity, before you invest in him. Because so often I find, especially, people want to give so much. They want to give all their love quickly, or they want to give their acceptance and give so much. And it's like, just wait. let somebody show you how they value you so that you can come from that place of sovereignty of like, yeah, they're adding to my life. And they're showing me in the ways that I have redefined in my own consciousness that is healthy love. So that shows me I can take a step towards that. But we have to also recognize the patterns within us that jump towards, whatever small piece of love we may see, because maybe on some level there's some part within that feels unworthy of really fully, again, being chosen, or fully being in a healthy, reciprocal, conscious, epic, loving relationship. So inner work is really, really fun. I love doing inner work. I love supporting clients and doing inner work. And it's been such a joy to see, recently one of my clients, just her going from not being in a space necessarily where she was ready to create a relationship. And now through the inner work we've done together, she is in a fulfilling relationship in the beginning phases of it. And out of privacy, I won't share personal details about it, but it's just, that is exciting, and that's meaningful. And when people do the inner work, it's like your external reflections will change. One of the things I also do is I create personalized guided meditations, which changes, it's again NLP, neuro linguistic programming. It changes the way that your mind pattern is, the thoughts that you have, because it's literally like rewiring you to think a new way, to think in that possibilities thinking, instead of, if you only think what currently is all that can be, it's like that's very limiting, and that's actually not an insight into what's possible. What's possible is always available. It's like, being expansive is how you're going to be able to create beyond what currently is. So yeah, just remember that we are energy. And something I wanted to share too is that when we love somebody, what that means is that I take you as a part of me. Your well-being is just as important as my own. Your needs are just as important as my own. What you want is just as important as what I want. That's what love is. So really, I want to invite people to like reframe love, because so often I think maybe people have certain definitions of love, and it can be, okay, I have to give up all that I am, or love is always sacrificing, and it's like maybe there's pieces of that, but love really is reciprocity. Love really is um, you giving from that space of abundance, and you having your own inner well that you take care of, and you also have your needs matter, and your needs are important, and you're taking time to fill yourself up with what you need, so that your partnership can flourish, and it can be spacious, and it can feel good. Yeah. So, and I have written a book, and I have not completed publishing it yet, but I'm in the process of that. Um, it's called Emotional Alchemy, a 15-step process to clearing your emotions. And that's the work that I do with my clients. And I'm going to be releasing that so that everybody can enjoy it and utilize it. And yeah, I just want to bring tools and bring healing and share what I've learned over my 15 plus year study of mindfulness, well-being, different spiritual traditions. I've lived in China for a year. That was deeply impactful, learning different lifestyles, different spiritual practices, and the study of yoga, study of tantra, and just all these different practices, spiritual psychology, and then just bringing that to you. So that's what I love to do. I love to learn, and I love to share what I learn. Yeah. So another piece I want to lean into is there can be a lot of unhealthy family systems. And many people have the idea of like family is everything. Well, yeah, to some people it can be, but then you can also have very unhealthy family systems that are, whether it's emotionally abusive or psychologically draining or continuously trauma inflicting. Anytime somebody is asking you to change who you are so that they can feel happy, it's like they're asking you to abandon who it is that you are, creating trauma within yourself. And then when you interact with them, you're not even actually being you. So even if they interact with you, they're not actually able to love who you are. They're just loving this projection you're putting forth that helps them feel okay, because they're not able to feel okay within themselves. So that's huge. That's something to look at. And whether you're in a family system or not, it's like, are you providing that to other people? Are you going out into the world with this energy of, I make space for people to be their own unique essence? Because I'm my own unique essence, and I'm always going to be new and unique and different every day. So I'm not expecting someone to always be the same. That's how you create, a side note, a thriving relationship, is that you recognize that, your person, they're going to most likely grow and evolve and change every day, same as you are. So if you can be in that expansion together, make space for each other to grow, that's how you really create that long-term passion. But yeah, so I want to, that's something I'm really passionate about too, is creating safe spaces for people that, let's say you have suppression mindset from your parents, or if they have racist mindsets, like, recognizing that racism is a lack of intelligence, truth be told, and it's not high consciousness at all. Any type of that, you know, any type of separation thinking, that's not a elevated way of being. Um, when there's, extreme bigoted thinking or extreme, judgmental thinking, it's important to question that, and it's important to kind of like take off that hat and be like, all right, that's their garment, that's what they want to wear, I'm not wearing that. Like, I'm gonna braid my hair, I'm gonna, dance tribally, like, that's just a metaphor, but give yourself permission to be different. That's what I want to say. If you notice toxic patterns within your own family system, it's like, question it, let them be them. Maybe they're ready to change and grow, maybe they're not, but you can always offer insights to be supporting them to be more open-minded and to be more loving and to be more compassionate. And you just keep doing you just keep growing, and you just keep expanding. So, and also too, I've worked with a lot of women through my workshop, Sensual Movement Sisterhood, helping women heal through trauma, through movement and dance, and connecting to their sensuality as a spiritual path. And a lot of women have had a lot of shame programming, a lot of religious suppression of their sensuality, and just whether it's being over sexualized and not able to really be seen as your erotic energy also being a form of intelligence, being a form of your healing gifts, a form of your creativity. In addition to that, many women have faced shame, and just a feeling of fear to even explore their nature as a sensual being, however that looks like. And that's also what creates so much of the jealousy or the competition, is because the root of it is one woman may not be feeling as free to express herself, and then she sees another woman and it's like, ugh. Or it's well, why can she do that and I can't? It's like, whenever we see a woman in her sensual expression, the invitation is to ask yourself, how does that inspire you? And how would you like to create some of that within your own life? And then also, what of her expression just feels like a no for you? And that's fine. You can have your own, like, sensuality can literally be like a hug or a bath, or smelling a flower, but it's like you're sensing your inner world. That's really, to me, what sensuality is. And sensuality is not about alluring somebody, it's not about being physically attractive. No, it really, to me, is completely separate from a sex appeal. No, it's your own inner connection to the sensual nature of your spirit, which is like, moving through life like honey. And it's about not being rigid and not being so stuck. And it's like enjoying your experiences and um, realizing that your gift as a feminine being, when you're able to relax, like you're in your superpower. And I want to encourage, the masculine identifying beings to support the feminine to relax, to be nourished, to be filled up. Because I've made posts about this before, but it's like the collective feminine is tired, really tired. And in many ways, just like needing to be held, you know. So if we can give that out collectively, that would just be beautiful. Whether that's sisters giving that to each other, or brothers providing that in safe spaces, or in partnerships providing that. Like, yeah. So, another thing I want to talk about, and I should maybe make like individual short videos for this, and I probably will at some point too. But I just wanted to briefly touch on what a healthy communication looks like. And when I say the word communication, that also includes listening. Communication is not just me speaking and me not taking into consideration anything that you say. That's not communication at all, right? That's like the one-sided monologue. So communication is listening. How can you tune into somebody's energy? How can you feel what they're saying? How can you feel what they're not saying too? How can you feel the energy underneath? How can you be empathetic, sensitive? Because sensitivity is a gift, and it's not a weakness. It's a gift. So it's listening, it's tuning in, and then also emotionally healthy communication looks like when you're hearing someone speak, you are saying back to them, okay, let me see if I get this. This is what I heard you say. It sounds like you're really feeling XYZ. I can imagine how that would feel, or you offer something to like acknowledge their existence. That's a form of communication because that's reciprocity. So just check yourself, like, are you doing that? Are you really actively listening to people? Because if you're not actively listening to people, you're not communicating. You're not communicating. So that's a piece of it. I heard you say this, and then take it deeper. Ask them a question. Ask them a question like, okay, so how did it feel for you when you were experiencing that? Like when you connect with someone and ask them to deepen an expression of their feeling, that's communication too. Someone can tell you that they went through this journey and they learned this lesson and they went through this hard trial. And it's like that you can say back to them, I'm really inspired by this quality within you that you demonstrated. I'm curious how you cultivated that quality. That's healthy communication too, right? Not just immediately jumping to, oh yeah, I climbed the Scandinavian mountain in this state, like not that everybody would immediately go to that, but you know what I'm saying? Like a lot of times when people talk, it's like they'll share information, and then you share information, like, oh yeah, I relate to this, but let's connect. Communication is connection, and connection is, I want to learn about you. I want to hear about you. I'm curious about you. And then sit back and listen and take it in, and, ask questions and remember that information. And then, you can bring it back up at different points in your continued relationship with them. But then you also give them a foundation for how you want to be communicated with as well. So when you're sharing something, somebody's actively listening to you. Somebody's thinking like, what is their purpose for being, as they're listening to you talk. It's like whenever I listen to someone talk, I'm looking for their motivational purposes. I'm looking for what spurs them along in life, what motivates them, their values, their ethics, their compassion, their empathy, like all of that. I listen for that. And then, to build connection with someone, it's like you look for common ground. And you create this space of our common ground. Affirming is huge. So, affirm people, affirm what you're hearing them say. share what you found value in, what you appreciate, and ask questions, like ask deeper questions. And then when it comes to your sharing, it's like they're gonna feel like they got to take that exhale, like now they're ready. Now they're ready to breathe you in. But don't be like, it's like breathing in, breathing in, breathing in. Like you gotta have that exhale so that people can actually feel like, wow, he took me in. Like he took all of me in, and he wanted to ask more questions. He wanted to get to know me more. And if you help someone get to know them more than they know themselves, you're valuable. You're invaluable. Because that's a gift. That's a gift. Most people just talk on their surface level, right? And they're talking about, my experience, my experience, my experience, my experience, my experience. Whereas, what if we share what's current, what's present, what's real, what's true, and then this other person is receiving it and they're like, oh, I'm curious about this, and what does that look like, and what did this feel like? Wow, thank you for sharing that with me. Completion. This person shares, this person speaks something, and this person is going to have no combative energy. They're not going to, fight you on your perspective, or they're not going to criticize because they just been so received. So, even if you share a viewpoint that completely triggers their point of view or their blueprint for what is or isn't okay, it's like they're probably going to be more empathetic and compassionate to be like, oh, that's an interesting point of view. I wonder why you think that way. What experiences did you have in your life that created that mindset? Oh, I see that. I never thought about it that way, but that's interesting. So that's another thing too. It's like when you really just disagree with someone, you don't have to necessarily pick apart their point of view unless they're open to that. Like, you can ask them a question. This is how you create rapport and respect. It's like, are you open for me to share a conflicting viewpoint? And then they can actually be in choice of like, yeah, okay, I'm ready to have my beliefs questioned, because for a lot of people, your beliefs are who you are. Like many people identify with that. So, until they're not necessarily as entrenched with their beliefs, it's like be gentle. Be gentle with how we are communicating with each other, and try to come first from like, okay, I can see why you would think that way. And are you open to a new perspective? It's just respect. It's just respect and rapport. So yeah, emotionally healthy conversation. Whew. Never saying you're too sensitive, you're too this, you always do that, I can never do this. It's like those types of things are coming from that emotional triggered reaction place. And then also too, if you're interacting with someone and they're upset, it's like, don't meet that with upset energy, because it's not helping. Like they're the one who has the initial wound. So it's your invitation, your opportunity to help them to heal. And that's again how you can step into leadership. It's like, woo, you've got a big emotion. Okay, how can I support? How can I help you in, feeling what is it that you want to feel right now? And then they get to come into their intention. Because that's anytime you feel like unstable, I want to say, or like a little shaky, it's like you're not connected to your intention in that moment. So if you, as someone who is clear, interacting with someone who's upset, if you can guide them into their intention again, you can create harmony. Your upset energy will never solve the situation if they're upset. So they're upset, and then their intention is, I just really want to feel heard. I really want to feel seen. Okay, you have your task, you have your objective, you have your job. See them. Try. You don't have to say every thought that you're thinking. Like, try to sit on your hands sometimes. try to just hold space for another person. I love that expression so much, and that really is a spiritual practice, holding space for somebody else, because then you get to unravel, and you get to unpack, and you get to be unconscious sometimes, and you get to vent sometimes. Just make sure that person has the availability to hold space for you, same as you want to be in an energy of being available to hold space for somebody else too. Yeah. So, asking questions like, I see this as a really big emotion for you. What's underneath it? What is it that you're not feeling right now? And how can I support you in feeling the way that you want to feel? You guys can work together on it. Harmony. Harmony equals differing opposing notes coming together in a cohesive way. It's not, I'm singing this octave, you better sing it here too. No. If you're in a baritone, I'm in a soprano, it's like, how can we meet in the middle and vibrate and harmonize there? Again, that's love. That's, I take you as just as important as myself. Even if your needs make no sense to me, that's your need. And it matters. Same as if my need makes no sense to you, that's my need. And it matters. Yeah? Okay. I think that's a lot. I guess the last piece I would really say is like whatever you're doing in life, wherever you're moving, whatever you're choosing, it's like always have in the forefront of your consciousness your purpose. And for me, purpose literally 99.9% of the time looks like more compassion, more empathy, more care for all people, all beings, all animals, the earth, like everything. And my heart, my body, my energy, my well-being, my thoughts, what I'm eating, where I'm living, and how I can help and support other people to be living and eating and thinking and interacting in the ways that they want, and creating harmony and creating sustainability, all those things, equality, healing, like all of it, all of it. So come to your purpose, and let the actions you take move from your purpose. Let the conversations you have move from your purpose. Come from your purpose, and life's just going to be so much more sweet like that. It's going to be so much more enriching like that. Yeah. Yeah. There's so much more I could say too, just about the really, there's like a subculture of, how can I say it, like trying to one up other people as a way of connecting with the world. And it's like, that's not real connection. Real connection is when you uplift somebody, you inspire somebody. You're real, you're vulnerable with your heart, you're open, you're deep, you're honest. Yeah, you're showing others how you were down, you were hurt, and then this is how you rose, and this is what you did, and that person can do that too. This is how you overcame suppression. This is how you overcame oppression. This is how you healed a family pattern. This is how you included somebody who's been excluded. This is how you changed a narrative. Like all of that, like that is so purpose activating. So whatever it is that you're currently journeying through that is a source of pain for you, it's like I just want to invite you into remembering that that can be a huge source of your purpose and your gift to others. So yeah, so I hope you know that you are loved and cared for, and yeah, I believe in you. I believe in your power for good. And I hope you continue to use your voice, your ideas, your thoughts for healing and connection and co-creation, taking care of the earth, taking care of each other. Should we do an oracle card? I think we should do an oracle card. The Divine Feminine. The one that is on the top right now is Sarada Devi, the Divine Mother. Unconditional love exists within me. The presence of love is the absence of judgment. Isn't that exactly what we were talking about? When it comes to family dynamics, family patterns, or interacting with people where, you feel like you can't be yourself around them. It's like if we're judging someone else, we're not loving them. And judging is being in the wrongness of somebody, and it's not being in empathy. When we're in empathy, we come from understanding, and again, it's that communication. And then from that place of understanding, people are going to be a lot less resistant to change. Not to say that nobody should ever change, but... Ooh, yes. This card is the Black Madonna. Our Lady of the Hermits. I transform pain and suffering into a greater capacity to love. I love that. So that's our invitation for that deep space of pain in our heart to be what we use as our pathway towards transformation, our pathway towards healing, our pathway towards creating more love. As someone who has carried a lot of pain, worked with a lot of people who carry a lot of pain, I'm sure you watching this have a lot of pain in your heart too. You have such a gift because the depth of your pain also equates to the depth of your capacity for joy. And when we're able to fill those spaces of pain with love, with healing, so much transformation can happen. And I think Brene Brown said something to the extent of our ability to be brokenhearted is directly correlated to our ability to live a wholehearted life. So I just want to send some love to the wounded healers, those who carry heavy hearts. You have a gift. You are special. Your heart has so much potential for healing, and you're going to have so much empathy and space to love others in such a profoundly deep way, and I'm sure you already know that. So let's pull one more. Here we go. Ooh. Sekhmet, the Red Lady. I am pure strength. I honor my anger by giving voice to it. This is huge. So this speaks a lot to underneath anger is purpose. Underneath heavy emotions, when we transform them, we get into contributive energy. And speaking about what you're not okay with is really important. And speaking about, the injustices that happen is really important. And I love the expression like a holy rage. Sometimes we gotta have that, especially the feminine. Women, let your anger be heard, let it be voiced. Maybe this is your permission slip. Turn it into art. Turn it into an invitation, a healing. I like this image. It's really beautiful. Yeah, she has that I don't give a fuck energy, and you can see the Eye of Horus and the Ankh, definitely giving off ancient Egyptian vibes, which is divine feminine, and that's an energy that's hugely lacking in our modern world. So man or woman, you can deepen into that energy. And also too, when we look at, what's underneath anger, what's underneath rage, it is a vulnerability. It is a request for love. It is a feeling of not being seen, not being heard. It is a feeling of, being violated or walked all over, or not being able to hold all this emotion inside. And it's it has to express, think of it like a waterfall or like the geyser, let yourself flow, let yourself move, let yourself dance, let yourself, pound on a pillow, if you need to, and catharsis. One more. Healing. Inanna, the queen of heaven and earth. I have nothing to hide. I see and accept all that I am. So, this is the invitation again to accept all that you are. Make a loving space for the parts of your heart that are in pain. Move beyond judgment of other, judgment of self, more into discovery, more into curiosity. And that's how we will create harmony. So, love each and every one of you so much. I have some Palo Santo here. I'm just going to light this. I'm thankful for this sacred tree that purifies energy. So just hoping you can absorb that feeling. It has a really nice aroma. If you want to get Palo Santo, make sure it's sustainably harvested. That way we take care of the earth too. This cleanses away any negative energy. This can clear your space. It's just really helpful. So I feel like we move through a lot of energy there. So yeah, I just want to send you guys lots of love, warm heart hugs, and just know, I'm discovering and growing and learning on this journey too. And I give myself permission to grow and evolve and change and different every day, and share the pieces of me that feel real and true to share, and invite you to do the same. So, yes, I love you guys so much. And thank you for dropping in with me. Thank you for being present. Thank you for being a gift. I see you. I value you. I love you. I appreciate you. And let me know how I can support. Let me know how I can connect with you. If you have like a mindful art or anything that you offer, I'd love to promote you if, it resonates, or just let me know how I can be of service. And then, if you do want to work with me, I'm available for one-on-one coaching and support, oracle readings, healings. I do a lot of inner alchemy work. Yeah, so this is just, small taste, small toe dip into the pool of what real alchemical work we can do together. So sending you guys so much love. Yeah, choose to be kind, and keep being you. And know that when you do the inner work, your external reality is going to reflect that. So love you guys a lot.